Team capacity planning in any business is no joke. It is one of the most critical pieces of work that you do want to get right inside of your agency to ensure that one, you have the resources, team resources, to actually take on the projects that are coming through, but also you want to be able to estimate the time it is taken to perform those projects so that the work is delivered to the client on time. It's definitely a tricky game. How can you manage this inside of ClickUp? In this video, I'm going to be walking you through some of the top features that I recommend that will help team capacity planning so much easier. If you are trying to get dialed in on the estimated amount of time so that you can plan budgets, if you're also trying to plan projects that are coming up through the pipeline for your clients, this video will show you some of the best features where you can leverage ClickUp to help you to do that successfully. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicola Melinda. I am a verified ClickUp consultant, and that means that I spend most of my time helping my clients to understand how to leverage ClickUp in the best way so that they can achieve optimum efficiency inside of their business. ClickUp has so many amazing features when it comes to supporting team management and also planning out workload and building in streamlined workflows to really help with efficiency and productivity. It can also be confusing to know what are the best features for you to actually utilize. So this video will hopefully give you some key takeaways so that you can start to implement those points into your business right away. Okay, so we're starting this off. I am inside of my demo space in ClickUp, and we are at the everything level inside of ClickUp. So if you haven't acquainted yourself with the everything view, this is where you can find it. It's on the left hand side, just above where all of your spaces are sat. You have this little option called the everything, and it literally does what it says. It shows you everything you need to see inside your workspace. So we are focusing on the workload view, and the reason I do it at the everything view is because we want to pull in everything we can into the workload to get a real view of the capacity among the team across the workspace. So this is the best place for you to do it. So I've clicked on my views at the top here, click on add view, and you've got your workload view just here at the bottom. Click on that. It's going to pull up that view for us. So now we can start to see what the view is for all of our team. So this is my demo space. So we don't have a lot of team members in here. So it's just myself. So what you'll see essentially is your team members. If you have multiple team members, everyone will be listed down below. Now you can switch this on for me mode, or you can have specific assignees that you only need to see. So if you have a client-facing team, you might filter based on your client-facing team, or if you have a team of VAs or a team of contractors, specific contractors that you work with specific clients, you can set up different filtered views on this level. So again, it doesn't have to capture everyone in the workspace. It can just capture who you want to see. You've got here the calendar. So we are viewing this across 1 week. You can update this here in this section to view it across 2 weeks if you want to see how the workload is looking across a 2-week time frame. This is capturing the workload from the 1st of July across to the 14th. But if I move a week ahead, it's now going to capture it from the 8th to the 21st, and so forth. So this will take me on a 2-week window. I tend to use this view just on a 1-week window, and that seems to be enough for me, but it again just depends on how you are planning, how far in advance you are planning your task and workload. Now, if we come into the current date, then we can see what tasks we have assigned. It's going to give us an idea of what the capacity is looking like. So this is me looking ahead at the week ahead, and seeing what the capacity is that's coming up for that week. I can also see what the capacity is for my team across that week. So I can see here that we've got 1 hour that's in the red, we're 1 hour overdue. So when you are setting the weekly capacity for your team, and you can edit that, this is going to be based on hours, but it's a weekly capacity, and ClickUp will calculate that weekly capacity equally across the week. You can set a daily capacity, so you can see that all of that time has been split equally across the week, but my daily capacity might vary based on different days. So I could change this and say that I'm available for 2 hours, 2 hours. So if you have team members that work part-time, perhaps, maybe they only work on Monday to Thursdays, or they don't work on Fridays, or if they do work on the weekends, you can set that capacity. But I can make that adjustment, and you'll see that that adjustment will change. So what was initially over capacity, I now have time available on Monday, but I'm over capacity on Thursday because I only work 1 hour on a Thursday. So that gives me some indication on when I need to shift times around. So the workload view is there to help you to plan in advance when your team is available, how much work and time they have to give to the projects, to the work. On the right hand side, you're going to see all of the different tasks that you have in the workspace and what's coming up. So you're going to see what tasks are unscheduled, and you're also going to see this little tab that says there are no estimates. Now this is coming down to time estimates. So before we can start to actually even look at the workload view, we need to take it back a couple of steps. We need to go back a couple of steps because there are a couple of things that need to be done first and foremost. So I've expanded the view on my team member, and I can see from this team member all of the tasks that are scheduled across the board. So what I want to share with you and highlight is that you'll notice there are some numbers attached to each of these tasks. So some say 0 hours, some say 1 hour, some says an hour and a half. We're going to open up the actual task, and this card will show you what we have in place. So we've got a time estimate field that is applied to this task. So when you are starting at the workload view and started to think about utilizing the workload view a lot more, you need to have 3 things in place. You need to have an assignee, which is the person who is responsible for that task, so who is going to be doing that work. You need to also have a due date for that task itself, so what day is that task due? And then you need to have a time estimate in place. The time estimate will help you, especially if you are tracking time inside of ClickUp, but it will also help you to know if you are planning too much work on your team members' to-do list. And if there is too much, it can also give you some guidance on whether you need to adjust their workload, or you have capacity, or they have space for you to actually add on more tasks. So you need to have those 3 elements in place. Now, where can you find your time estimates? Come up to your quick action menu, and you need to select the Click app. So we'll just go down to Click Apps. Next, you just want to search for time, and it's going to pull up all of the time related Click apps. So you need to make sure you've got these specific ones switched on. You want to have your time estimates switched on, and this will allow you to estimate the amount of time. You can choose how many hours per day you want to have as a baseline, but also you can set team capacity on an individual basis as well. You need to obviously keep it displayed in hours, and then have your spaces. So I have selected all of my spaces, so make sure you are selecting the spaces that the time estimates should be applied to. And then you also do want to switch on time tracking if you're using time tracking inside of ClickUp. I do have a video on how to do time tracking inside of ClickUp, which I will link in the description, and you guys can go ahead and check that out. If you're not familiar with using time tracking in ClickUp, that will give you some really good tips to get started. I'm also going to encourage you to switch on time estimates roll up, and the reason being is I'm going to share that with you in a moment as to how that can also be a benefit to you, especially if you are using subtasks inside of your workspace and projects. So once you've got those Click apps switched on, we're going to head back over to our workspace. So we're back at the everything view, and so as you can see, we have got our tasks already assigned, and we've got some capacities in place. So now you can understand why the task capacities can give us an understanding of availability across the board, and this can always be changed and updated or shifted as needed. We can also update tasks from this section as well. So if you want to apply the due dates across a couple of days, you can do that. So if I wanted to put this across from Wednesday and Thursday, then I can do that, and it will again update the capacity. So you can see that being updated, and I could move it to Wednesday all at the same time as well, just to shift that completely. Date where this is, instead of being red, it's now amber. So it's telling us that we are at capacity. Green means that we're safe. We've got a bit of time to play around with. This is really where you want to be at. You want to be in the green section. You can see here that we've got a little bit of space based on light green versus the darker green. Amber is telling us you're spot on, don't add any more. If it was red, which you've seen before, red is telling us that we are over capacity, so something needs to change. So again, if we were to make any updates to the time capacity over the course of the week, for example, if I just set my weekly capacity and just said, I don't actually want to do more than 10 hours of work in the week, what a wonderful light working week that would be. I could save that, and you can instantly see the capacity shifts again. So now we need to do something with that task that has 5 hours attached to it. Do we say that that task can be done over the course of 3 days or 2 days? We just make those updates as we need to, and it will shift the capacity over time as well. So you can just play around with this view, and it really can help you to understand how you can get the balance between assigning work and also making sure that you're not putting too much work on your team's plate. Now, there is something missing in this view, okay? And I'm going to share with you what that is. So we're going to go up to Customise here. And something you can do is you are able to filter. You can filter this view based on locations. You can filter it based on assignees, but there is something else missing. I'm going to show you. So we're going to go to workload options, and what we're going to do is you want to make sure that your subtasks are always switched on. Now, if you are using subtasks, this is key because you can also apply task estimates to your subtasks and have separate assignees to your subtasks as well. I also want you to notice that as I switched on the subtasks, something else happened. The roll-ups grayed out. So if you remember, I showed you the little ClickUp that said task roll-ups. That's where this comes into place, because you can apply task estimates to your subtasks and it will add up the total estimated time and add that total to the parent task. So let's have a look at what that looks like in real time. I'm going to open up one of my tasks. So we're going to come across to the site blog updates, and actually I'm going to look at this in the list view because it's a little bit easier to show you guys as well. Right, so I'm inside of my client project here. We can see this is the task that we're going to focus on, and we have some subtasks applied as well. So we're going to follow my rules and we're going to assign these tasks to myself. We're going to just do this in bulk really quickly. Use the left-hand menu, click assignees on the menu at the top, and just apply it to myself. And we're going to set our due dates. So I'm going to just set these due dates in staggering formation. So let's just say tomorrow, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Wednesday is the final due date. So that's when all of this needs to be done. So we've set up our assignees, we've set our due dates. Now we want to put in some time estimates. So currently there's no time estimates on this task. But if I was to now apply time estimates for each. So if I say, let's do 30 minutes per blog post. You can see there that now it is adding up the time for us. So let's just put 30 mins. So that time has gone from 30 to now 1 hour. And let's do the same here. Great. So now we're at 1.5 hours for this particular task. So if we go back to my workload view at the everything level, I will expect to see my capacity has shifted because now I've assigned these tasks and I've set the time estimates in place. And it also means that now the subtasks, they have their own time assigned to them as well. So you can see here that I'm now overdue by 1 hour and 10 minutes. My capacity has changed, so I'm not over capacity as such on the Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday is now a problem because I've added in all of these estimates. So if I stick to time on these particular tasks and I do the time within 30 minutes, it means that I'll be working an hour and 10 minutes more than originally planned. Okay, so now we are back at the workload view level and you can see that my capacity has shifted. So whereas before Monday and Tuesday were green, it was okay. Now I am at capacity on Monday and Tuesday. I'm at capacity. In fact, I'm actually a little bit over. I'm about 10 minutes over capacity on these days. I am 100% over capacity. I would be working an hour and 40 minutes more because these additional subtasks now have time estimates applied. We've got due dates applied and you can see them in the workload view. So I share this with you because if you are using the parent task as the main project task and all of the actionable steps, the deliverables that need to be done are subtasks and they're assigned to different team members, it is highly beneficial to apply the time estimates to the subtasks and the due dates and the assignees, because then that will give you an accurate view at the workload level as to what your team are working on. This is going to help you to really see the true nature of their capacity. If I took it a step further and I actually started to apply some time tracking, so we'll do some real-time time tracking here. Let's go back into our blog 1 post. So you'll also notice here that I've made a little update. So our task is now in progress. So I've changed the status. So something I also want to share is that your tasks in this area are color coded based on statuses as well. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, this task is now updated to being done, so doing, versus if I hover over another task, you can see there in green, it's set as to do. So if you are looking for that overview of what's actually taking place, the statuses will still reflect as the tasks are being updated as well within the workload view. So if you are thinking about assigning more work and you're not sure if a task is actually completed, if a task is closed, then it's going to reflect as being closed, and so you'll know that it is also safe for you to apply more work or maybe just leave it as is. Something to think about as well is that if you are using the in-house time tracker, if a task is being done, so I'm going to open up this task, the site blog updates. If you have time tracked against this task, it's not necessarily going to show in the workload view. So one thing you can do is use the dashboards view to set up a report on time tracking and to keep an eye on the estimates versus the time that's actually been tracked. So I'm going to go across to my dashboards and show you what I mean. So in this view, you can actually set up a time tracking dashboard. We're going to do it just based on this month. And we'll choose our data source to be all of the spaces. And this is just a templated dashboard in ClickUp. You can create your own, absolutely. This is just for ease in this video to show you how you can view the difference between what's been estimated versus the time that's actually been tracked. So when you come into this view, you'll just need to make sure you switch on the edit mode, and then you can just make sure that you're capturing the correct range of dates. So doing it for this month, make sure that's captured. Include any subtasks, switch that on, and do the same for the timesheet view as well. I do have a separate video where we do cover how to manage the timesheet, so you can have a look there. But now you can see it's pulled in what's estimated versus what is tracked as well. So if you're trying to understand if a team member is taking too long to do work, or you're underestimating how much time it takes to actually do a task or for a project to be completed, that could be from a budgetary perspective, time management perspective, team capacity perspective, then this will help you to at least capture the data that you need to have a look at, so then you can go on to make more informed decisions, because data doesn't lie. So as long as it is all inside of ClickUp, you're capturing the time estimates, you're capturing the actual correct time that's being tracked on that piece of work, then you'll have a correct view of the data that is being applied, and then that will take you onto other conversations that you'll have either with your team, or maybe there needs to be some decisions made around how you're assigning out the work and applying that across the capacity. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you found this video to be of use to you, and you can go away and start to implement some of the key points that we've covered in this video. You can implement them straight away in your own system. Check out the links below if you would like to learn more about how you can work with me or to connect just to learn how to leverage ClickUp. I'll leave some links in the description for you to go and check out. And if you did enjoy this content, be sure to hit subscribe and also drop a comment and let me know what you enjoyed the most out of this video so I can keep creating content just like this. Until next time, I will see y'all later.